Let me ask you something. Have you ever poured your heart and soul into helping someone only to feel drained, used, and unappreciated? Ever given your time, energy, and resources to someone who just took and took but never changed? It's time to wake up. Not everyone deserves your help. Some people will only drag you down. And if you keep giving to the wrong people, you'll have nothing left for the ones who truly matter, including yourself. So today we're going to talk about 7 types of people you should never help or support. This is about protecting your energy, valuing your time, and making sure you're investing in people who actually want to grow. Helping others is a noble and compassionate act, but there is a fine line between genuine support and enabling self-destructive behavior. One of the most dangerous mistakes you can make is trying to help someone who refuses to take responsibility for their own life. These individuals are often trapped in a mindset where everything that happens to them is someone else's fault. They blame their circumstances, their upbringing, the government, society, or even bad luck. But they never look in the mirror and say, I am the reason I am where I am today. People like this are experts at deflection. When they fail, they have an excuse. When things go wrong, they have a reason why it wasn't their fault. They live in a world where external forces are controlling their fate, and because of that, they never take the necessary steps to change their situation. The hard truth is this: no matter how much advice, resources, or support you give, nothing will change if a person refuses to take ownership of their life. Imagine pouring water into a bucket with a hole at the bottom. No matter how much you pour, it will never fill up. That's exactly what happens when you keep trying to help someone who won't take responsibility. You can guide them, mentor them, even solve some of their problems for them, but they will always find a way to end up back in the same place because they refuse to recognize that they are the common denominator in their struggles. The problem with helping these people is that it drains you emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even financially. You invest in them believing that this time will be different, that your words will finally sink in, that they will finally make a change, but each time they come back with the same story, the same complaints, and the same lack of action. And while they remain stuck, your energy is being wasted on someone who isn't even trying to move forward. If you truly want to help people, focus on those who are willing to help themselves. Help those who are actively taking steps to improve, those who take ownership of their mistakes, and those who are willing to put in the work. The best way to support someone is to guide them towards self-responsibility, not to carry them on your back while they refuse to take a single step forward. Stop trying to save people who refuse to save themselves, because in the end, they will only drag you down with them. There are people in this world who don't just take up space in your life, they drain you of your energy, your motivation, and even your happiness. These people thrive on negativity, chaos, and constant problems. No matter what you do for them, they always seem to be surrounded by drama, always have a crisis, and always need something from you. And the worst part? They don't actually want solutions. They just want your attention, your sympathy, and your time. Every conversation with them feels like a one-way street where they offload their problems, but they never take action to fix anything. Being around these types of people is exhausting. At first, you might feel bad for them. You might genuinely want to help. You listen, you offer advice, you give them the emotional support they crave, but soon you start to realize something. They don't really want help. They want to vent, complain, and keep you involved in their never-ending cycle of problems. And the more you engage, the more you get pulled into their energy-draining world. You start to notice a pattern. They call you only when they need something. They bring you their problems but never solutions. They seem addicted to crisis mode. And if there isn't a real crisis, they'll find something to be upset about. They will monopolize your time, distract you from your own goals, and drain your emotional resources until you have nothing left for yourself. You'll feel guilty if you don't pick up their call, guilty if you don't listen to their endless complaints, guilty if you start setting boundaries. But here's the truth. You are not responsible for carrying someone else's emotional baggage. If you continue to let these people drain you, you'll start to feel it in every aspect of your life. Your motivation will suffer. Your own problems will start piling up because you're too busy dealing with theirs. Your peace of mind will slowly fade, replaced by stress and frustration. And what do they give you in return? Nothing. Just more problems, more negativity, more demands. The only way to stop energy vampires from consuming your time and mental space is to recognize them for what they are. You must realize that not everyone deserves unlimited access to your energy. Some people will take and take without ever giving back, and if you don't protect yourself, you'll end up emotionally drained, mentally exhausted, and spiritually depleted. It's not selfish to distance yourself from people who only bring negativity into your life. It's necessary. There are people in life who seem friendly, charming, and appreciative. until you realize that every interaction with them is transactional. These people are takers. They only reach out when they need something. They know exactly what to say to get what they want, but the moment you need something from them, they disappear. Their loyalty is conditional, their kindness is strategic, and their presence in your life is purely self-serving. At first, it might not seem obvious. They come to you with enthusiasm, making you feel valued and important. They might flatter you, act grateful, or even pretend to care about your well-being, but over time, a pattern emerges. They never check in on you unless they need a favor. They never offer support unless it benefits them in some way. Their generosity is selective, and their interest in you is purely based on what you can provide. The danger of these people is that they disguise their intentions well. They make you believe that the relationship is built on mutual respect and care, but deep down, they are only concerned with their own gain. And the more you give, the more they take. They never hesitate to ask for help, but when you need them, they suddenly become too busy, too distracted, or simply vanish. One of the biggest traps people fall into is believing that if they just keep giving, eventually the taker will appreciate them. That if they continue to be kind, loyal, and generous, the taker will reciprocate. But that's not how it works. Takers don't suddenly become givers. They simply move on to the next person once they've drained you of what they needed. It's important to recognize these people early and set boundaries. If someone only shows up when they need something, if they never contribute to the relationship in a meaningful way, or if you always feel used after interacting with them, it's time to step back. You are not an endless resource for people to exploit. Your time, energy, and kindness are valuable, and they should only be given to those who genuinely appreciate and respect them. There is nothing wrong with helping others, but there is a difference between helping someone and being taken advantage of. Real relationships are built on mutual support, not one-sided taking. If someone isn't willing to give as much as they take, they don't deserve your generosity. Stop feeding relationships that leave you empty. Start investing in people who truly value you, not just what you can do for them. There is nothing more frustrating than trying to help someone who refuses to change. You can offer them advice, give them resources, and even create opportunities for them, but if they are unwilling to take action, all of your efforts will be wasted. These people live in a cycle of stagnation, constantly complaining about their problems, but never making any real effort to solve them. They may talk about their struggles, their desires, or their dreams, but when it comes time to take responsibility and actually do something, they always find an excuse. At first, you might believe that they simply need guidance, that maybe they just lack confidence or don't know where to start. You invest your time, energy, and maybe even your own resources, thinking that you can be the one to push them forward. But as time goes on, you start to realize a painful truth. They don't actually want to change. They may say they do, they may even convince themselves that they do, but deep down, they are more comfortable staying where they are. Change requires effort, discipline, and often discomfort, and they are unwilling to go through that process. People who refuse to change often live in a world of self-pity and excuses. They find comfort in their familiar struggles, even if those struggles are ruining their lives. They may even get attention from playing the role of the victim, telling the same sad stories over and over again, and when you try to push them toward progress, they resist, they dismiss your advice, make excuses for why nothing will work, and often find reasons to justify staying the same. No matter how much effort you put into helping them, nothing changes because they don't want it badly enough. The biggest mistake you can make is believing that you can want something for someone more than they want it for themselves. Change is an inside job. It can't be forced upon someone, no matter how much you care. If they are not willing to take responsibility for their own growth, no amount of support will make a difference. The only thing that happens when you keep trying to help someone who won't change is that you drain yourself in the process. Your time, energy, and even your emotions get wasted on someone who isn't even willing to take the first step. The sooner you recognize this, the sooner you can stop investing in people who refuse to invest in themselves. Some people in life are not just unwilling to support you, they actively work against you, whether openly or in subtle, manipulative ways. These are the jealous and negative individuals who can't stand to see you grow. They may disguise themselves as friends, colleagues, or even family members, but deep down, they are uncomfortable with your progress because it reminds them of their own lack of achievement. Instead of being inspired by your success, they feel threatened by it. Instead of cheering for you, they silently hope you fail. Jealousy is a powerful and dangerous emotion. It makes people act irrationally, say things they don't mean, and sabotage those around them, sometimes consciously, sometimes without even realizing it. These people may pretend to support you, but their words and actions tell a different story. They'll downplay your achievements, make passive-aggressive comments, or act indifferent when you share good news. They might say things like, "Oh, that's nice, but don't get too excited. A lot of people try that and fail." Or, "Must be nice to have that opportunity. Not everyone is that lucky." What's worse is that their negativity is contagious. When you spend time around jealous and negative people, their mindset starts to rub off on you. You begin to second guess yourself. You hesitate to share your goals or successes. You start to wonder if maybe they're right, if maybe you're aiming too high, if maybe you should settle for less. And that's exactly what they want. Because if you stay at their level, they don't have to face the uncomfortable truth that they are the ones holding themselves back. The reality is, these people are not happy with their own lives, and instead of working to improve themselves, they focus their energy on resenting others who are moving forward. No amount of kindness, explanation, or encouragement will change them, because the problem isn't you, it's them. The best thing you can do is distance yourself from their influence. Protect your energy, protect your vision, and surround yourself with people who genuinely want to see you succeed. Your growth will always make some people uncomfortable. Let it. Your success will always trigger insecurity in those who refuse to push themselves. Let it. You cannot dim your light just to make others feel comfortable in their darkness. The right people will celebrate your wins, not resent them. The wrong people will try to pull you down so they don't have to feel left behind. You have to decide which voices you allow to shape your future. There are people in this world who believe they are owed something simply because they exist. They expect favors, support, and help without ever putting in the effort or showing gratitude. These are the entitled ones. The people who feel like the world revolves around them and that others should cater to their needs without question. No matter what you do for them, it's never enough. No matter how much you give, they expect more. They don't appreciate your help because in their mind, it's something you should be doing for them. Entitled people operate under a mindset of expectation rather than appreciation. When you do something for them, they don't say thank you. Instead, they think, well, it's about time. They believe that because you have the ability to help, you owe it to them. Maybe they think you should support them because you have more money, more experience, or more success. Maybe they assume that because you've helped them once, you're now responsible for solving all their problems. The truth is, they don't see your kindness as generosity. They see it as a duty. The more you give to these people, the more they expect. If you help them once, they assume you'll always be there to clean up their mess. If you do them a favor, they treat it as if it's something you were supposed to do. And if you ever decide to stop, if you set boundaries and say no, suddenly you're the bad guy. They act offended, as if you've betrayed them, when in reality, you've simply chosen to stop being used. The worst part about dealing with entitled people is that their sense of expectation never leads to growth. Instead of being inspired to work for what they want, they wait for someone else to hand it to them. They don't strive for self-improvement because why would they? In their mind, the world owes them success, happiness, and support. And if they don't get it, they blame others instead of taking responsibility for their own lives. Helping someone who is truly struggling and appreciative is one thing, but pouring your time, effort, and resources into someone who sees your generosity as an obligation is draining and pointless. The best way to deal with entitled people is to stop feeding their expectations. When you stop giving in to their demands, they are forced to face reality. Nothing in life is owed to them, and the only way to get what they want is to work for it. Until they realize that, they will continue to take without giving, expect without gratitude, and blame others for what they refuse to earn themselves. At the end of the day, the people you choose to help and support will either lift you up or drag you down. Not everyone deserves your time, your energy, or your kindness. Some people will appreciate your efforts, grow from them, and use your support as a stepping stone to a better life. Others will drain you, manipulate you, or take advantage of your generosity without ever making an effort to change. You have to be strong enough to recognize the difference. Helping the wrong people doesn't just waste your time, it holds you back from your own growth. It keeps you stuck in cycles of frustration, disappointment, and exhaustion. And the more time you spend trying to save people who refuse to help themselves, the less time you have to invest in those who truly deserve it, including yourself. So choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who take responsibility, who uplift and inspire, who are willing to work for their own success. Stop giving endless chances to those who refuse to grow. The greatest gift you can give someone is not your constant help. It's the lesson that in life they must stand up and fight for themselves. Some will rise, some will stay where they are, but the choice is theirs, not yours. Let go of those who hold you back and focus on building a life filled with people who truly value what you bring to the table.